Hey guys, J-Man here for another comic book review. And now we're going to be taking a look at Creepshow number 2. So I'm a fan of Creepshow. I reviewed the first issue. This is issue 2. There's no relation. These are all standalone stories. I'm going to use my space method to review these stories. It stands for story, pacing, artistry, characters, and enjoyment. I use space for movies and comics and all that stuff. So if you're new to the channel, that is my rating system. I've been using that for a long time, 10, 15 years at least. And the way it works is that I compare the story, the pacing, the artistry, the characters, and enjoyment to the book itself and to others of the genre. So when I review Creepshow, I'm going to be reviewing it against what it promises. It promises to give me some horror stories. You get 2 in here. So how well does it deliver on that promise? Also versus other anthology horror comics as well. So whatever score this gets, this is not being compared to, Scorched, which I just reviewed as well. These don't have anything in common. I reviewed this based on the Spawn Universe comics. This is being reviewed based on itself and Creepshow issue 1. So each category gets a score between 0 and 2. 2 is the best, 0 is bad. So 0, if a comic gets 1 on every category, that means it's a 5 out of 10. That means it was okay. That means it was a good comic. Look, comic books, they're not going to always get 10 out of 10. If a comic book does get 10 out of 10, like I think I gave Scorched 8 out of 10. Well, I'm not saying Scorched is almost as good as The Dark Knight Returns or Watchmen or something like that. I'm ranking, these comics against themselves, right? Not exactly in a vacuum, but sort of, right? Like you're not going to compare this to Swamp Thing, right? Like it's like, Alan Moore's Swamp Thing at least. Okay, so with that being said, you get 2 stories in here. I'm going to give story 1 out of 2. I really like the first one. It concerns this girl here who's got a tree, like this big, huge tree in her backyard. And I can't really tell you too much without spoilers, so I'm not going to really spoil anything. But weird things start to happen with the tree. I liked that story a lot. I thought it was really neat. And it just kind of kept me engaged, so I was kind of into what was going on. The second story wasn't too bad either. It was about this comic book creator who's created this character. And now they're talking about how the character's in movies and stuff, and he's being changed and modernized. So I could really relate to that, and I thought that story was pretty cool. The reason it's only getting well, you know what? Maybe I'm going to give it a 1.5. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to give it a 1.5 out of 2, so slightly above average, because I did find it to be the stories to be kind of neat. So I don't write my reviews down. I kind of do them on the fly. So I'm just kind of going back through. So I read this last night. And yeah, I do like both stories. I think they're a little bit above average, so 1.5. For the pacing, I'm going to give it a 2 out of 2. These stories are short, they're fast paced, they get right to it. They don't waste any time. There's a quick setup, and then a payoff. That's it. It's like setup, payoff. That's it. They're very quick. They're 2-act stories. I think they're done really, really well. So that's a perfect score, 2 out of 2. For the artistry, I'm going to give it a 1. I do like the cover. And like this art was like okay. I don't know. It was all right. It doesn't seem like Creepshow art to me, right? Like it should be a little bit better. I would have given it a lesser score, but the first story does look like Creepshow art to me. So the first story was more horror-ish, like you can see stuff like that, right? The second one didn't look like a horror comic. It looked like more of a weird kind of fun independent comic, which I guess fits the story-ish, but I just didn't like it. So I'm giving it a 1. Characters, I'm giving it a 1 out of 2. I mean, it's tough with these anthology books, like the characters. The only reason I did like this guy here, this old guy who's the creator of this of the comic. So he's like a comic book creator, and he's an old man now. And this guy's coming to look after him, and stuff happens. I don't want to spoil anything because these comics are pretty short. So I'm going to give it 1 out of 2 for characters. Characters in an anthology book are never going to get more than 1 out of 2 unless there's something really spectacular. Like, it's not like I need to see where this character goes in the next issue, right? It's not like gunslinger Spawn where you're like, oh man, I want to follow this guy. That's not how it works here. So 1 out of 2. Enjoyment, I'm going to give it a 1 out of 2 for enjoyment. I liked this comic. I didn't love it. So that gives me a 5, 6, 6.5. 6.5 out of 10 for Creepshow. 6.5 out of 10 is still a very, very good score. Most comics should get 5. Between 5 and 6. So 6.5 means it's just slightly a little bit better than I would say as an average. It's just a little bit above average for a comic of this kind. Now my 6.5 out of 10 might be your 8 out of 10. Let me know in the comments what you guys ranked this one. But yeah, I will continue to get Creepshow because it is Creepshow. If it wasn't called Creepshow, I probably would not continue getting it. So the name does play a factor here. I am giving it slightly more of a pass because it is Creepshow, and I do like Creepshow, plus this font looks really cool. So I am going to continue on with it, but I may or may not get physical copies anymore. I may go to digital on this one. And the reason is space is a problem, not my rating system, actual physical space. I don't have a lot of room to keep comics anymore, and I absolutely cannot give up the Spawn books. I just can't drop those. But yeah, so that is that. Now, if you're catching this video, it's a Wednesday today. Tomorrow's a Thursday. So Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, we're doing our Respawn stream where we're going to talk about Spawn, the month in Spawn. What did you like? What did you not like? Just Spawn in general. And for that stream, I'm going to let people from the chat come in. So if you're a subscriber and you're in the chat, you can come into the stream with us and talk live. You just need a mic. That's it. No software. It's all done through the web. So, but that is it, guys, for Creepshow number 2. I thought it was pretty good. Let me know your thoughts. Until next time.